What is up, everybody? Kaz Dan is on here with Crash Productions with yet another Atari Dev Space. And today we are joined by, and please, I hope I make this right, Chiago?
Perfect.
All
Yeah,
right, cool.
you
All
got
right.
it.
So, Chiago, go ahead and give everybody who's watching a little bit of an introduction of who you are and what you do and why you're here today.
Yeah, awesome. So thanks for the invitation. It's my pleasure to be here. So I'm CEO of Gamecraft Studios, and we make games, right? I think everybody here loves to play games, and that's what I do. I mean, when I was a little kid, I was always dreamed of becoming a game developer, and fortunately I did. And so I spent my entire day making games. And why I'm here is really cool because I've posted a demo reel in the beginning of this year of all the projects we have worked on. And I mean, you found us and you posted on the Atari VCS Discord channel, and everybody started to enjoying the videos, the games that we developed, and we stayed in touch, right? So I started to talk to Atari, I talked to David because of you. So I mean, it was really awesome. I mean, the everything that happened, how you guys found us, and it's really pretty cool to be here. Yeah.
So it's fair to say that the community is treating you well.
Pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, everybody is awesome. I mean, we don't have a game on there yet. Probably, I hope in the near future we'll have. And I mean, being able to having those guys playing our games on VCS will be, I mean, will be really awesome. And what I talked to David, and there is something that I think that Atari has on its core, because the whole community is really connected and they love playing games and they're really cool guys. And I think that being treated this way is something really cool, because we know that there are a lot of different communities playing
Right.
games around there, and I'm really happy to know that Atari is one that there are players that love playing games, and I think we make games because of that. Yeah.
Now, that is also the big thing here is the game. So let's talk about some of the games that you and your company have helped produce, worked with, and other companies that you've have worked with, partnerships with in the past. I have a list of some of the games here from your website on my phone, and I realize that not all of these would translate well due to licensing agreements on Atari and so on and so forth. But you've worked on Gunfire Stars, 2120 Mars, Cobra Kai 2, Hex Tech
Mhm.
Mayhem, which I think was a League of Legends inspired
Yeah.
game.
Yes. Uh-huh.
But you also happen to have Legend of You, which I
Mhm.
believe is directly through your company,
Yeah.
Summoner Wars, um, Aloysius Hunt, and then you
Hmm.
also have a new one that you just announced. So we're going
Yeah.
to talk about that. Vampire Hunters, not to be
Hmm.
confused with Darkstalkers, but Vampire Hunters. I'm not even going to explain it. I'm going to let you explain what that is first, okay? Because you are the
Okay.
man behind everything.
Okay, so we love shooting games here in Gamecraft Studios, and I think Vampire Hunters is the most. It's I mean it's the core of everything we love in a game. I mean, it's a retro FPS about stacking up guns and shooting vampires. It's really simple, but the roguelike mechanic of having different guns, different enemies, changing the mechanic of the game in each run makes the game really addictive and really cool to play. So I mean it's a FPS about stacking up guns. So you're gonna change the way you shoot enemies as you play, and you're gonna change your abilities, your skills, and because it's really there's this roguelike element, and of course killing really awesome beasts. I mean vampires, demons, and all stuff like that. Yeah. So that's
So
it. That's Vampire Hunters.
To hunt vampires, you need guns. Lots of guns. Unlock dozens of upgrades. New hunters. And wield the ultimate weapon. Vampire Hunters. Wishlist now.
So let me ask you real quick. You keep using the term roguelike. So is this going to be one of those games that has like randomly like generated locations, or is there going to be like a campaign, a general narrative, like a straight path that people can play,
Mhm.
or is it going to have both, or just one?
Yeah. So there'll be several levels. That will be, I mean, the level, there will be some things that in the level be procedurally generated. Mainly the enemies. I mean, you won't necessarily face the same enemies, the same amount of enemies every time.
Mhm.
And mostly the skills and the weapons that you get in each run will be randomly generated. So because of that, your play style will change. Of course, that you can upgrade your character, upgrade your skills, upgrade your first weapon.
Mhm.
But the main thing about the game is you have to play a lot of times, because each play will be different, and that's what we really want to happen. I mean, for the players to really enjoy, keep playing the game, and of course we're gonna make different levels, different enemies, so this can help the engagement. But yeah, that's the idea. We developed two roguelikes before, Rogue Summoner and For Sparta, and we really love this element of randomly generated stuff. Yeah, so go
Sorry,
ahead.
I completely forgot about For Sparta. It's
Yeah.
not on your website, but that
Yeah,
was
we changed. Yeah, because now we announced Vampire Hunters, so we removed For Sparta just because it can fit well. Because I mean, fortunately, we did more projects that we can fit well in the website, so we have to change to select some. But yeah, there's For Sparta. We really love this game. Yeah,
I'm gonna plug some video game footage of that in here, like in the middle of
awesome.
the interview, so that way people can see what For Sparta is. But this is also gonna lead into my next question here, right? So, what games are you possibly going to try to port or bring to the Atari VCS? I know you're currently out on Steam, and I forget what other platform, so you could correct me on that real quick as well.
Yeah. So Oliver, mostly, I mean, Gunfire Stars is on mobile, and all the other games that we developed ourselves on Steam. And Eliosi Suns is also on PS4. The games we developed for clients and co-development, they are everywhere. I mean, we did on Xbox and all stuff like that. And I can't talk much about what we're discussing with Atari yet because we haven't closed anything yet. But our idea is to put Vampire Hunters there because it's a game that we are still in development. And what I'm trying to see is will really be a good fit because our idea for Vampire Hunters is
I seem to have
players playing the game before it.
I seem to have
Now
lost.
it's good. I'm seeing you. Can you see me?
Yeah,
I'm seeing you.
It's okay. Continue. So you said
okay.
It's still in
so so we're launching probably on July on Steam Early Access. And I mean the idea of Early Access is having a lot of players playing the game and giving us feedback so we can improve the game for the final launch. And the final launch of Vampire Hunters would definitely be on PC and maybe on console. But our idea, and again, I can't guarantee that, we're still talking, is to have Vampire Hunters on Atari VCS on development, so people can play the game. And as I mentioned, the whole community is really engaged, and I think that we're going to receive a lot of good feedback and make the game better. I mean, that's what we want.
I've been saying this since the Atari VCS launched. There are two things that the Atari VCS needs more than anything for modern gamers and new people who are picking this up. It needs a dungeon crawler, which we sort of got that from Orange Pixels. We got that with Heroes of Loot, but ultimately we need a dungeon crawler, like a first-person dungeon crawler, and lastly, we need a first-person shooter. Those are two genres that sells units, that stands out and pull people in. If you brought, in my opinion, that is, if you brought Vampire Hunters to the Atari VCS, it would be something that I pick up day one. It would be something that I would, I promise you, pick up day one. And I'm confident that so many other people would. So hopefully you can secure that with Atari and bring this awesome looking game. I've seen the promo for it, by the way, this awesome looking game to the VCS because it is something that we desperately need. Now, another question, and this is just a curiosity type question. So obviously there's two controllers for the VCS. There's the classic and the modern. Now, I realize first-person shooters don't actually translate well to modern, but how hard would it be to get it working on this?
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? We don't have Atari VCS on our hands yet, so it's hard to test. And of course that we can use controllers like that and test on PC. But we didn't start on that yet because the way we developed the game here is let's first make it super awesome on PC. And I mean, making that with mouse and keyboard, stuff like that. And then we're going to start to choose different controllers. Of course, we want to port to console, so you have to fit on the normal controller, normal PS4 and Xbox One, Nintendo Switch controller. And on the Atari, will be fitting on this controller that you showed will be a really cool challenge. And we love challenges here. And of course, we have to test, right? That's why we can't guarantee anything. But I mean, having a first-person shooter working there would be really awesome. And I think that it may work really well because.
Sorry, guys, for the cutout. We lost signal for a second, so we're gonna go ahead and continue the video here. Now, you said that you guys like challenges, but you also said that you don't currently have your hands on Atari VCS hardware. I think one of the big questions to ask right now, because this is the one thing that I think Atari is working on, but I can't confirm, certain regions don't have access to the Atari VCS as far as distribution goes. You guys are located in Brazil.
We're in Brazil.
Do you know if Atari caters to that region of the world, or I mean, you're not that far from us?
I'm not sure about that yet because I mean, what we talked about is I had the first conversation with David, and they really love the game. And but we didn't have when I talked to him, we didn't have our demo ready yet. So now we do because we just launched the trailer. So I'm gonna send him again, and we're gonna keep going through there. But I'm pretty sure that they'll be able to send us one Atari. And I mean, if they don't, I mean, we can find a way of handling the cost. I mean, our idea is to put our hands on the VCS and having you guys playing our games there. Yeah.
Nice. So with you guys currently being in contact with Atari and making plans moving forward to hopefully get one of your products on the VCS, what is the rest of the company like saying about it? Like, walk us through the process of like the excitement or the enthusiasm and just trying to figure all these things out. I'm curious.
Okay, so I'm 29 and I didn't grow up with an Atari, but there are some folks here that grew up playing Atari games, and I mean they went crazy. I mean, what are you talking to Atari? And some didn't know about VCS, some did, and I mean having the opportunity of showing everybody and telling them that I talked to folks at Atari. And another thing, I mean, we are discussing even further things with them. And I think that we open the communication with David, and I think that we can, I mean, have a lot of cool things with Atari. So everybody loved here this idea, and mainly because the community games they really love having. Oh, it's frozen.
Yeah, it did it again. Okay, so you said this.
I can talk it again. No problem.
It cut out at this community really likes. So if you continue from there.
Okay. So it got the part that I told that there are people that played Atari here.
Yeah, we got that.
Okay. So continue because the video froze again, and I think that game developers, they love engaging players. They love people that give good feedback. I mean, honest feedback. Of course, that there's positive and negative, but people that really love playing game and they give their heart on the feedback. And I believe that the Atari community is like that. So I'm really looking forward, and everybody here in Gamecraft is really looking forward for that too.
Okay, let's see if that helps our data issue.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I think that since the pandemic, everything went online, but we still have those issues. I mean, in Brazil, and you're in America, and I mean, the connection, it's crazy because it's. And we can see that, I mean, depending on where the connection is located, it really changes, I mean, the connection. Yeah, but I'm good. I mean, I don't have any problem of repeating over and over until it's good. I mean, it's
weird actually because so I've done several other interviews before, and sometimes I'll call attention to like something cut out or there's a little bit of lag here or whatever. But what I've noticed is that when recording through Zoom, I'm trying to find the right words for this. Sometimes what actually happens on screen is not recorded. It's like it optimizes everything, and then like most of the problems are just kind of like they're gone. It's still lagging. Like for example, how like you completely freeze. I don't see you moving. I don't hear you saying nothing. But then when I go back and play the video, it's all there, right?
Yeah, I think maybe because it's recording on my end, in your end, it's recording in your end, and then I think they put it together. So I don't know. Maybe they do that because the problem is when we are talking, I have to see it live, right? But I mean, when it's recording, if it's recording locally on my PC and locally on yours, I don't know if Zoom does that, but probably. And when they put it together in the recording, I mean, it would be a smart way to do that. Yeah.
So while we have a clean slate of data right now, what is the or not necessarily what is, but like piggybacking off what you were saying with the people at your studio who are having this enthusiasm for Atari, what are some of the things that they're saying ultimately? Like what are they most excited about?
Okay, so I think that the game developers, I mean, they get excited of different things. I mean, the main one is getting people playing the game and hearing what they think. I mean, that's the basic thing. I mean, when you develop a product, an entertainment product, you want to see people using it, playing it, and you want to hear about it. So when you have a community that really speaks their mind and it's really engaging, I mean, that's awesome. So I think that's the main point that I told them about what I've heard about Atari VCS community. But then there's another thing. I mean, people having our games on different platforms. I mean, of course, there's Steam, PS4, Xbox One, but having on another console and opening another possibility of players, that's really awesome too. And I think that people really love that. And of course, having the games that people are making here, Gamecraft, on a Atari. I mean, you guys have. I mean, Atari has a lot of history, right? So I mean, it's really cool to tell their friend. I mean, oh look, I made a game and it's on Atari VCS. That's awesome. So I think that we get excited about all different stuff like that. Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of untapped potential on the Atari VCS for developers. With your company included, trying to get something that looks ultimately AAA or is in fact AAA on the VCS is something that a lot of people would really like. It doesn't always have to be retro games that are brought over, but speaking of your games, Obviously you guys have worked on several types of games and you've worked with several other companies. If you had to pick one game, what was your favorite one to develop for, and what's the reason why?
Okay, so it definitely is Elios's Hunt because it was our first game. And to give a little background, we started in 2014 as TDZ Games, not Gamecraft. And the company, my brother and I founded TDZ Games and Gamecraft. We founded both. So when we started developing Elios's Hunt in 2014, I was in college and my brother was in high school. I mean, we were really young and we started developing a game. I mean, we as I mentioned, since we were kids, we really loved this entertainment world. I mean, we made a lot of, I mean, movies. I mean, we homemade movies, right? I mean, films and stuff like that. And when we start to getting older, we start to learning programming and stuff like that. So we started developing games, right? So I mean, we had different small prototypes, but once we gathered enough knowledge, I mean, to develop a full game, we said, let's do that. But I mean, we didn't think about creating a company, releasing the game on PS4. I thought that you froze. I mean, it's all
No,
good, right? Yeah.
no, you're
So
good. You're good. Everything's coming
so
through.
good. So we started developing the games thinking, let's make a game. I mean, we were really young and we didn't have any. I mean, of course, we wanted to release the game, but we didn't think about PS4 and stuff like that. So when we started developing the game and the game was getting good, we started showing to other developers from Brazil, and they were saying, "Look, your game is really cool and it has a lot of potential." And we talked to our father, I mean, my mom and to our parents, my mom and my dad, and they said, "Oh, look," and they really supported us, and they said, "Oh, why don't you guys?" Of course, that we wanted that, and we asked them, what do you think of creating a company and making this game? I mean, our life, right? And they said, let's go. I mean, we can support you guys, and they helped us, and we hired some interns mainly on art because my brother and I have programming backgrounds, so we put people, other students on the game to help us make the game look better.
Mhm.
So we spent 3.5 years developing the game, and we created the company doing this development. We learned a lot, and we created a relationship with Xbox, with PlayStation. It was really crazy, and we
And
launched the game. What?
this was Aloy's Hunt.
Elios's Hunt, yeah,
Aloy's.
Elios's Hunt,
Nice.
and yeah. So once we launched the game, and we learned a lot, so we start to creating other games, and we changed the name of the company because we stopped for 2 years. I mean, after we launched the game, I don't know if there's any developers listening to us, but it's really hard to make a living making games. I mean, it's especially when you're young and you don't have a lot of knowledge. So the game it wasn't a commercial success, so we stopped a little. We tried different things, but we got back on the game industry as Gamecraft Studios with more knowledge and more experience. So that's why now we are co-developing with other companies and also creating our games, right? So the co-developing is a way to participate in other games, to have some cash flow, and we can keep developing our games until one hits a great success and we can keep developing our own games. Yeah, so that's the idea, and that's a brief story of Gamecraft Studios. Yeah,
So
and why was our favorite? Because it was the first one, and it was the reason why we are here, right? So it was a huge game. I mean, we spent 3.5 years, and we managed to finish the game. During the development, a lot of people said that, oh, it's a really cool game, but it's really hard for you guys to develop because it's your first game. But we kept trying, and we managed to release on PC and PS4. So everything that happens for us on Gamecraft because Elios is Hunt. Yeah, so it was really special.
that is a really awesome, by the way, that is a really awesome origin story. Now, we did just get hit with a 10-minute timer, so that means that part one will be coming to a close very soon. The question that I want to ask real quick is, having this background with video game development, starting out in college and working with your brother, which platform would you say was harder to develop for versus PC or PlayStation or Xbox and Switch and so on? Like over the few years, which one would you say is the most difficult and the easiest to get
Okay,
released on?
cool. Yeah. So nowadays we are very experienced in everything. I mean, we ported games for Xbox One, Series X, PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch. So now we do have a engineering background here in the company, and my brother and I we also gathered that. So nowadays we have this knowledge to port. But back then, when we were developing Elios's Hunt, when we were learning everything, Elios's Hunt was developed on Unreal 4, and Unreal 4 they didn't have a lot of support for Xbox because I don't know if you guys remember there was Paragon, right? The game that Epic Games was developing, and they
Right.
released the game on PS4. And because they were using Unreal, they had a lot of I mean a lot of code there ready to port the game for PS4, but they did not release on Xbox. So the engine was not fully ready to port to Xbox. Of course, it was possible, but we did not have this experience back then, so it was easier for us to port for PS4. But I think that nowadays it's life, right? I mean, you keep learning. So nowadays we are really comfortable. I mean, developing everywhere. Yeah.
Awesome. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and end part one now, and we're gonna hop into another. If you have the time, that is. Do you have the time?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's keep
All right,
talking.
just want to make sure. So we're gonna hop into part two. So for you guys who are watching right now, I'm Kazdan Azan. I've been joined by Thiago. Did I say right?
Yeah.
Thiago.
Yeah, you got it.
With Gamecraft Studios. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in part two.
See you guys.
All right.
To hunt vampires, you need guns. Lots of guns. Unlock dozens of upgrades. New hunters. And wield the ultimate weapon. Vampire Hunters. Wishlist now.